What you want to do is reduce the cost to space, no matter what. By the way, how much money is being spent on space? You should emblazon this in your head. Here it goes. This is the pie chart. $330 billion a year is spent on space. Equal parts in commercial infrastructure and products and services. This includes businesses that run on GPS. It includes DirecTV, weather satellite reporting. The United States is the $44 billion in the upper corner. We spend about half again as much on space as the entire rest of the world. But each of those two small segments are small compared with the total business of space. So there is money to be made in space. By the way, the governments went to space first. Just let's remember that. They took the risks. They absorbed the risks. Commercial space follows. We all saw the Falcon Heavy launch. I'd like to show it again. Do you want to see it again? Yeah, okay. I trimmed it down to the last 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Here we go. There was some issues with the sound here. And let's see if this works. A couple of things I want you to notice. There will be water getting poured onto the launch pad.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Which absorbs vibrations from the engines. See the water pouring now?
SpaceX Falcon Heavy, go for launch.
On the left. So when on ignition, all that water evaporates.
T-minus 15, stand by for terminal count.
So that's most of the cloud that you see. After it clears the cloud, there's no more water to evaporate.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Falcon Heavy.
If you can hear me over the cheering, Falcon Heavy heading to space on our test flight. Building on the history of Saturn V Apollo, returning pad 39A to interplanetary mission. We're getting ready to throttle down for max Q. You've heard the call out. Vehicle is supersonic. Side boosters are now throttling back up to full power. We're past max Q, the period of maximum loads on the vehicle. Next up, we'll be waiting for the side boosters to begin to throttle down prior to booster engine cutoff and separation 2.5 minutes into flight. GNC trajectory looks good on the Falcon Heavy.
So it's still accelerating, as you can see, in kilometers per hour.
Reports show that the M1D engine performance is nominal. Side boosters have begun to throttle down in preparation for the upcoming shutdown in 20 seconds.
So what's most amazing about this launch is not the launch itself, but the fact that he's reusing pieces of this launch.
Side booster shutdown and separation.
Inside shutdown. Side boosters. Beagle. Center. Just tightening up. That's why I think it's going. booster base by exciter.
This goes for just another minute.
Successful separation. We're coming up on Nico and shutdown.
Stay safe.
We're now high enough so that the fairing no longer needs to be enclosing the payload. So no need to carry that weight any further. So you just drop the fairing. That happens in a few seconds.
Coming up on fairing separation.
Center core side engines on power, also look good.
Yeah, that was a pretty American thing to do. You have the most powerful rocket in the world, and what do? You send a car into space. It's a dummy payload. I mean, it's a real car, but I joke that I wonder is that a real body in there? How do you get rid of a body? That's, the Falcon Heavy has half the thrust of the Saturn V rocket. That's why they kept qualifying it, saying it's the most powerful rocket in the world today. The Saturn V was twice that power at 308,000 pounds of thrust. Sorry, we still use pounds. There is a live feed of the spaceman driving this car, and it's surreal because things move slowly, but they move. So this is actual footage of this car in a transfer orbit to Mars around the sun. And the position of this payload is slowly changing relative to the sun and to Earth. So if you put it on your computer, it's just like I said, see, that's Earth coming into view. It's like, okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure all the flat earthers, it's really just a ploy so that they can get a free trip into space to be convinced of this. It's on an orbit from Earth that'll go out and meet Mars. And so if you're going to send anything to Mars, this is a minimum energy transfer. And that's kind of what you need to do. And you need heavy transport to bring people, supplies, and the like. You've got to see this minutes later. It's truncated, but it's very cool. So the two boosters come back. And when you take the Emirates 380 Airbus and you land in the airport, they don't throw it away and bring out another one. They reuse it. This cuts your costs. So this is precisely
There they are.
the motivation. Those are the two boosters coming back.
In like meteors, real fast. We're going to do a final burn here in just a moment.
This is amateur video of it.
There's final burn 1 and 2.
Light travels faster
Two
than
candles
sound.
coming down.
There they are.
That's the
Double sonic booms.
That's the Florida coast. So at minimum energy transfer, you can get to the moon in 3 days, Mars in 9 months, Jupiter 10 years or so, Saturn 20, Alpha Centauri, the nearest star system to Earth, 70,000 years. So whoever wants to say, let's colonize planets of other stars, there's a problem with the human physiology relative to the time that it takes to get there. If you're lucky, you live 100 years. That is 1/700th of this time. So it seems to me we'd have to learn something new about the space-time continuum with a wormhole of some kind before we consider colonizing planets around other stars.
started. Side boosters landing legs have deployed.
And the Falcons have landed.
LZ1, LZ2, both side boosters have touchdown. Landing out there, we move on to recovery 2.
And coming up very shortly, the Center Core will be attempting its landing on the autonomous spaceport drone ship.